lecture, we did an introduction to variables and we were able to establish what variables are. So for a recap, we stated that variables is a memory or a name of a memory location. They can be described as containers for storing data values. So now we stated data values. What are data values? Let's take a brief look at what data types are before we continue on types of variables. So data types. In Java programming, data types are divided into two. We have the primitive data types and we have the non-primitive data type. For primitive data type, we have the bytes, which has size of 1 byte. So a byte stores a maximum value of 1 byte. We have a short, we have an integer, we have the long, we have the floats, we have double, we have boolean, and we have char. So these are all the primitive data types in Java. So we have 8 primitive data types in Java. So now the byte stores values that ranges from 128 to 127 and has a size of 1 byte. The short store values that ranges from 32,768 to the negative 32,768 to 32,767. And the integers store values of minus 2 billion 147,483,648 to 2,147,483,648, on and on like that. So the long stores a higher amount of data. The floats, for example, stores data in decimal places. Float and doubles, they store data in decimal places. So the float stores data in 6 to 7 decimal digits, while the double stores data sufficiently to 15 decimal digits. We have the boolean, and the boolean stores data as a true or false, and the boolean is just 1 byte. And we have the character. The character is a single character or letter. It stores it stores value as a single character or letter. So let's go back to our class. Let's look at the various data types. So now I'm still going to use variables to make this example of data types. Paste some, just follow me suit. Now what I've copied and pasted here are the various primitive data types. If you take a look at the first one, we have the bytes and ranges from minus 128 to 127. So if I should execute this right now, I'll see all the values printed out here from my print line. So but what happens when I change this to 1? I said the byte is from minus 128 to 127. What happens when I change this to 8 and I decide to print this? I'm gonna get an error. And why? Because it's losing conversion from int to byte. Because the value, I stated this data type as a byte, but this value is not a byte. This value has exceeded the value of a byte. Byte starts from minus 128. So if this was minus 128, for example, and I run this, I'll get my code fine. But if it was 127 and I run this, I'll also get an answer. But if if each of the data type, they all have ranges, and once you exceed each of the data type ranges, the data type has to change, and you have to manually change these data types in Java. So if you are confused, you can read up on data types on W3 Schools. So you can read up on data types on this sites and W3 Schools. And so that's that for data type. So now in our next class we will discuss about the type of variables.